Imagine a battle between the largest crocodilian and squamates on the planet. This is what you get. Two titans that lived alongside the dinosaurs and ruled the waters in their time. The Deinosuchus and the Mosasaurus. Today, we will put these animals into the arena and see who will be the true king of the waters. Coming up, Deinosuchus versus Mosasaurus. Let's talk about these animals, starting with Deinosuchus. The Deinosuchus has four giant species in the genus, with Deinosuchus cherry being the largest and the chosen species to compete in this video. Deinosuchus is no ordinary crocodilian. Not only is it the largest crocodilian, but it weighs 13 to 14 tons, easily outweighing every carnivorous dinosaur and making it the largest predator of the Cretaceous. Deinosuchus also measures 12 meters in length, possibly longer, and 1.9 meters tall at the head. Deinosuchus is also a member of the alligator family, which is part of Crocodilia, and lived 82 to 73 million years ago. Deinosuchus is loved by many people, and taming one would have been the legendary Steve Irwin's biggest dream. Deinosuchus competed with Sarcosuchus and Purosaurus for the title of the largest crocodilian not long ago. Sarcosuchus was later out of the debate, given how its size estimates weren't enough for it to be in the debate, and it turned out to be a Politosaur. Later on, as new estimates for both of the competing animals came along, it was more likely that Purosaurus was smaller as well, and so the Deinosuchus is currently the largest crocodilian of all time. Now look at what else lurks in the prehistoric waters. It's the mighty Mosasaurus. The Mosasaurus genus has more species than the Deinosuchus genus has, with Mosasaurus hoffmanni being the largest and the chosen species to compete in this video. Mosasaurus hoffmanni is larger than the Deinosuchus, weighing 13 to 15 tons, measuring 13.1 to 14.9 meters long, and being 1.6 meters tall at the head, almost tall enough to look an adult human in the eye, although height isn't really that necessary, but who cares. Mosasaurus is the largest of its family, Mosasauridae, and also the largest of its superfamily, Mosasauroidea, and lived 82.7 to 66 million years ago, all the way from the Campanian stage of the late Cretaceous to the end of the Maastrichtian stage, which is the end of the Cretaceous. This means that the Mosasaurus lived for 16.7 million years, which is beyond incredible. Mosasaurus is like a giant chunky monitor lizard with flippers instead of claws and a shark tail flipped upside down, and it is one of the most popular sea predators, being there in many movies, games, and shows, and known and loved by millions. Although this animal is well known, there's still so much we don't know about them. I can only imagine how amazing these animals would be if they were still alive. They're incredible. Now let's talk about their weapons and attack methods, and believe me, this won't be pretty. If you're afraid of crocodiles, then the Deinosuchus is your worst nightmare. Deinosuchus is more dangerous than the crocodilians today altogether. This is because their teeth are massive, with some of them being as big as a banana. And these teeth are also thick, strong, and perfectly designed for crushing any bone. But what mainly makes the Deinosuchus such a powerhouse is that its head is big, dense, and robust, meaning that this could give the Deinosuchus a stronger bite force, and it did. With such a big, powerful head and bone-crushing teeth, the current estimate of the Deinosuchus bite force is around 100,000 newtons, making it one of the strongest bite forces in the animal kingdom. But that is not all. Like crocodilians of today, the Deinosuchus can perform the infamous death roll. It was actually well built for this attack method and would ambush like the crocodilians of today. Once it has its jaws locked onto the target, there is no going back. Even without performing the death roll, it could still tear off a chunk out of the target because these animals would also have shaken their victim around. Either way, the victim will not be having a good time. But what about a Mosasaurus? If you look closer into the mouth of a Mosasaurus, you would see an extra row of teeth behind the jaws. These teeth can inflict some more damage when the Mosasaurus sinks teeth onto its target, if it goes deep enough. The teeth of the Mosasaurus are good for tearing apart and breaking bone, although not as powerful as those of the Deinosuchus. However, they are also well designed for a type of impact and attack method. The jaws of the Mosasaurus are good for that as well, but we'll be talking about that impact thing after weapons of this carnivore. These jaws of the Mosasaurus could have a likely bite-force of 13,000 newtons or higher. Although not as strong as the bite force of the Deinosuchus, it is still well designed for crushing bone and can still do some serious damage, especially with its attack method. Mosasaurus has two attack methods. One is by ramming its target at a high speed, which can stun them. The other attack method is a much more powerful one. This attack method is where the Mosasaurus goes into the ocean floor below its target, curls itself for a sea start, which fish today do, and strikes at its target at full speed with its mouth full of teeth open, ready to inflict some serious damage. This attack method, even without the bite, can severely injure, if not kill, the targets, depending on their size. Deinosuchus, however, is too big for this attack method to be fatal, but it can still be a serious problem if they get hit by the Mosasaurus. The Mosasaurus literally turns into a living torpedo. Now let's see if their build can help against some of these attacks. Deinosuchus has its ribcage in a pretty high position, but it is pretty wide and the ribs are thick and strong. This gives some bulk and robustness for the Deinosuchus. Deinosuchus, like every crocodilian, has osteoderms. These osteoderms are big and strong and can reduce some damage the animal takes. However, the tail and belly of the Deinosuchus are something this animal needs to look out for, since the tail helps in speed and the underbelly is softer than other parts of the body, and if it is severely wounded there, the Deinosuchus would not be doing so well. But despite this still makes the Deinosuchus a crocodilian tank, and its defenses help it from terrestrial and even aquatic attack. The Mosasaurus, on the other hand, has longer ribs and has a rib cage in a lower position than the Deinosuchus has. It too is pretty wide, representing some bulk and robustness. Mosasaurus has a strong tail and the body is built to withstand some heavy blows like the Deinosuchus can. The problems here, however, are that the ribs are slimmer, and if it experiences a massive impact or somehow gets in the jaws of a Deinosuchus, some could break and can lead to serious problems. The tail is also something the Mosasaurus needs to look out for, because it also helps it in speed along with its fins. Getting injured in these areas could reduce some speed of the Mosasaurus, but if it's bitten in the tail, then it's game over. However, its speed could still help the Mosasaurus dodge these attacks and prevent this from happening. We'll talk about that after the next category. That category being their experience. Deinosuchus on land dealt with many dinosaurs with armor, like some ankylosaurs, and some with dangerous weapons, like ceratopsians. They even dealt with theropods, like some tyrannosaurs that lived alongside them. They would have competed for food near the river, and the Deinosuchus would have bullied these carnivores away. We aren't sure if Deinosuchus was a territorial predator, but it might have lived alongside other Deinosuchus in some bodies of water, but they might have gotten into some confrontations with each other at some point. Now, what's even more interesting is that Deinosuchus would also have gone around the coastal rivers, which would lead to the sea or even the ocean. So it could have dealt with some other marine predators that lived alongside it, including some mosasaurs at that time. Mosasaurus ruled the ocean, but it didn't without dealing with other marine predators. Mosasaurus dealt with other large mosasaurs, which likely included Tylosaurus and Prognathodon, but they would have dealt with each other more of the time. These animals were territorial and would have fought each other, as shown in prehistoric planets, which, by the way, they did a good job at it. We know this because a fossil of a Tylosaurus, a large mosasaur, had tooth marks on its skull which were inflicted by another Tylosaurus. This would have meant that other large mosasaurs, like Mosasaurus itself and Tylosaurus, were territorial. Mosasaurus dealt with more rivals and dealt with them 7.7 million years more than Deinosuchus did. But this is not all. Mosasaurus is also known to have gone to coastal rivers and other bodies of water where Deinosuchus went, and they lived at the same place and at the same time. This could be likely that a battle between a Mosasaurus or a Mosasaur and a Deinosuchus could have actually happened, but right now there is no evidence of that. Maybe soon. Who knows? Now on to the final category before the recap, their speed and agility. Deinosuchus can move on land and water. However, Deinosuchus couldn't gallop like crocodilians of today since they were too big to do so. It moved 11 miles per hour on land, but thanks to its tail, it can move 14 miles per hour in the water, which is pretty fast for an animal its size. The agility of the Deinosuchus is also good for its size. This is because of the osteoderms of the Deinosuchus. The osteoderms of crocodiles and alligators are designed for protection and helping their mobility, which would include their agility. This could have been the same for Deinosuchus as well. Mosasaurus, however, can swim more than twice the speed of Deinosuchus. Last year, the Prehistoric Planet team revealed how fast Mosasaurus could swim. It can clear about 75% of its body length in 1 second by a sea start, which is a method some fish use today. Mosasaurus was able to do something similar to this, but reaching insane speeds. This would mean that Mosasaurus could reach speeds of more than 25 miles per hour in 1 second, which could give the maximum speed estimates of Mosasaurus somewhere around 30 miles per hour, possibly even greater. The Mosasaurus is pretty agile as well, being able to maneuver pretty well and can make turns faster than the Deinosuchus. It's incredible how much we know about these animals. It's incredible. Anyways, we now have one thing left before we start this battle. And now, before we start the fight, let's finish our last category, our recap. Deinosuchus has a larger head and jaws, a stronger bite force, can perform the death roll, and is more durable and more robust. Meanwhile, the Mosasaurus is larger, has a second row of teeth, has an attack method that is faster than the one of the Deinosuchus, is a better ambush predator, likely, has more experience, faster, and can make turns faster than the Deinosuchus. And now that we have everything out of the way, it's time to battle on the water, Deinosuchus versus Mosasaurus. It's another day as the Deinosuchus rises up after a lie down to go hunting. It isn't interested in any terrestrial prey. Right now, it's going for aquatic prey. The Deinosuchus moves into the water and begins its search for food. And it doesn't take long for the animal to reach the end of the coastal river, which leads it to the sea. Around it are all sorts of food, like fish, turtles, and more. Suddenly, the Deinosuchus notices the fish and turtles beginning to move away, as fast as they can. The Deinosuchus now knows there's another large predator lurking in the area, but it doesn't know exactly where they are. Below the Deinosuchus is a watching giant, making a C shape, ready for a sea start, and ready for ambush. The Deinosuchus then notices something coming towards it below, and it's coming fast. The Deinosuchus moves away from the striking zone as fast as it can as an attempt to dodge the attack. Near miss. The Deinosuchus quickly swims away further before turning to see it's an opponent. The attacker is a Mosasaurus, and it is charging at the Deinosuchus once again. The Deinosuchus charges as well, and both giants collide into each other as they try to sink their teeth onto each other. The Mosasaurus avoids the jaws of the Deinosuchus and manages to bite into one of the legs of the giant crocodilian. The Deinosuchus then breaks free, pushes the Mosasaurus away by the snout with its foot, and fights back. The Mosasaurus quickly breaks free and swims away, keeping distance between itself and the Deinosuchus. The Deinosuchus follows, but the Mosasaurus is too fast. The Deinosuchus stops following the Mosasaurus, and then takes a sip of air. But before it puts its head back in the water, it notices the Mosasaurus is charging at it again. The Deinosuchus goes back underwater and opens its jaws, ready for attack, but it's too late as the Mosasaurus rams the Deinosuchus, stunning the giant crocodilian. The Mosasaurus turns back to the Deinosuchus and charges at it once more, this time going for the underbelly. The Deinosuchus quickly reacts and makes another save, turning to the Mosasaurus with its jaws and teeth ready and tries to bite it. The Mosasaurus slows down and fails to attack the underbelly. The Deinosuchus thrashes around, trying to bite the Mosasaurus. But the Mosasaurus once again gets out of range from its jaws and moves to deeper water. The Deinosuchus fails to follow again and loses sight of the Mosasaurus and doesn't know where it is again, not realizing that the Mosasaurus is back on the sea floor, preparing another sea start. Hopefully this time it will manage to hit the Deinosuchus. Mosasaurus strikes again. The Deinosuchus notices the Mosasaurus and quickly gets out of the way once again. Moves up to the Mosasaurus once it is in the clear, and both animals break the surface. This time, it is the Deinosuchus who uses their attack method, and the Deinosuchus manages to bite into one of the fins of the Mosasaurus. As they go back underwater, the Deinosuchus performs the death roll on the Mosasaurus, and the fin gets torn off in an instant. The Mosasaurus bites back, but it doesn't want to fight anymore once it breaks free. The Mosasaurus instead retreats back to deeper water, leaving the territory, and the Deinosuchus alone. The Deinosuchus decides to get out of the sea and goes back to the coast to rest. Hopefully it recovers soon, and there is some food around here, since it's not really safe to go back into the water anymore. In this scenario, the Deinosuchus is the winner. There are many ways this battle could have turned out, like in the coastal river or in a river. However, these areas would have been less fair given how the Deinosuchus is more adapted to these places and Mosasaurus wouldn't be able to use its full power there, so the Deinosuchus would take advantage of that. So, it was better to go with the sea, which is likely the most fair scenario for this battle. I would say the Deinosuchus would win 52% of the time and the Mosasaurus 48% of the time. Looks like it's a close call for the giant crocodilian. It was great making this video, although it took God knows how long. But still, it's great to have it out. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. And stay tuned for the Q&A.